Hello, welcome back to All for United WFC FA Cup. Oh, he's got look at that scarf. Can't believe I should have got mine and held it. You're the first guest ever to do that to really rep the opposition side. So we're going to obviously talk about that's the flag from Wembley as well. Not the Carabao Cup one. No, that's from the.
Put this in the background somewhere. Well, I'll just keep it next to me in case we need it at any point. Sorry, Connor. Please continue.
Got signed football as well. We got so much merch on show here in this this show. It's more than we've ever had. So yeah, get all your comments in and all things like that as we get to talk about Sunday's game. Obviously, it's the first game for United in the FA Cup since our obviously final defeat last year. Getting to all that, obviously talk a lot about Newcastle. That's why we've got Lee and Joe from Newcastle Fans TV to kind of give us more of an insight into Newcastle, the kind of best players the season so far and all that kind of thing. Because if people don't know, they're flying in Tier 3 right now. So, yes, it's not going to be as easy, I think, as people think looking at it on paper. So I'll just come to you both first. Firstly, both welcome to the channel. I'll start with yourself, Lee. How are you doing? You looking forward to Sunday? What's your kind of, I guess, your just initial thoughts on the game?
Thank you very much for having us, both of us on. First of all, me and Joe. I'm really excited about it. We follow, I think, home and away every single men's and women's game, and this is we've been building up to this. Me and Joe, we've been talking about it behind the scenes since the draw was made, and we've obviously got the great interaction. We've got access to the lasses and Becky Langley, the manager, and everything, and they're all looking forward. This is what they wanted. They didn't want a side that's in Tier 3 or Tier 4 or Tier 2. They wanted a big gun to see how well they'll test themselves, because we are expected to get promoted, like a double promotion, and then we bang into the championship and we've gone full time. So, we pay the girls a good wage, and obviously as we go up the leagues, money talks, players will join us from even further out to Europe. But yeah, I'm so excited about it because it's all the club are talking about them. It's all me and Joe talk about. We're voicing out each other on WhatsApp and message each other. It's all about the women's stuff. It's not about Man City for the men's on Saturday. About you can't wait to get to Sunday now, and he's like, I've told him to get me a coffee on the way down, wake us up in the morning, all this. We can't wait. It's gonna be great fun.
Yeah, and Joe, for yourself, how are you kind of, obviously, as Lee just said, they're obviously looking forward to Sunday. I've got to echo what Lee just said there as well, by the way. Me and Jess are very similar in terms of, our kind of weekends revolve around what the women's team do, and then kind of just look at when the men are playing kind of outside of that. But yeah, Joe, for yourself, how excited are you for Sunday, and just your initial thoughts on the game itself?
I keep saying, I'm nervous and excited. I'm nerve-sighted. It's been a long time coming, seeing them rise up from lower leagues, seeing them, getting hammered by other teams and whatnot. And now where we're all, we've always kept a positive attitude. We've always kept happy about it, always known where we can go. And we've just kept the faith going forward. And now it's come to this. And when we're seeing Manchester United drawn out, I've watched the WSL for a while. To get Manchester United, I mean, aside from the whole Newcastle-Manchester little bit of tit and tat we have there, it's going to be fantastic for the lasses to get out there and challenge, which quite honestly is our decent team. So it's going to be great to get out there, come down and give you a good match, win, lose or draw, which I'm banking on a win, by the way. I just can't wait. It's been a long time coming. When the draw came through, we were electric about it. It was unbelievable. This is the test we want, unbeaten in 2023. Let's go in and let's take on one of the top challenging teams. You finished second last year, and we're going against you guys. Bring it on. Massive challenge for the lasses. Love every second of it.
I mean, Jess, it's going to be hard to follow that. Are you as excited for Sunday and so on? Obviously, because when the draw was made, we were pretty similar to Felix, because we watched the lower leagues as well. Obviously, myself watched Tier 3 a lot, just purely based off, because if people don't know, I watch Stourbridge Women, who are also in Newcastle's division at the moment in Tier 3. So I've watched Newcastle a couple of times. It wasn't a great result for Stourbridge when we played Newcastle not so long back. We won't go into that. But Jess, are you as excited, obviously, for this time? Because obviously we know traditionally in the men's game, Man United Newcastle is always a big game, but obviously in women's football, this is a relatively new tie. But the excitement seems to still be there.
Oh yeah, fully. And I think I have goosebumps now, to be honest, after those little speeches. If I was not excited before, then I am now. And I think it's great to hear, from a United point of view as well, especially because we're also a newish team, how exciting it is for other teams to come up against us. I guess you sort of kind of forget that we're now considered sort of big guns. But of course we are. You know, we've been in early stages Champions League this year. So it's nice to see that, you know, people want to compete against us. And I honestly think that it could be a really, really good game at the weekend. I'm sure we'll go into it more, but I think the atmosphere is, you know, hyping up to be a really, really good day out. So I am very excited.
That's it. We may as well start there, actually, because Sporty's just asked that question. I know Angela, I've just seen has replied, but obviously how many fans are you guys bringing on? So it's something we've spoken about on chat just before we came live, but obviously if either of you can answer that one, to how many. I know Angela's kind of responded saying sold over 1,000 away, but I mean, are we expecting more than that potentially?
Definitely. There's a lot of people in the home ends because of the, as I say, off camera, there was a tweet that was made that was ill-advised, and also an admin error on Newcastle's website saying that you get a loyalty point for the men's. So that didn't go down too well. So that's been retracted, and there will be a lot of away fans in the home end. I won't be surprised that it's up to 2,000. Yes, officially it's over 1,000 in the away end. But though, if don't get me wrong, if you're sitting there and there's a black and white scarf next in the home end, better get used to it.
There's like we've got, I think, over 3 coaches being fan organised, all full, no more room on them. They're coming down. I know there's a fair few people who are from down south way who don't really get up to the matches for the lasses and any of the lads' games. They've bought tickets. They're going to the Lee Sports Village. Like, we have got quite a few. I think Lee could be right in saying that we're going to bring a 2,000 strong army down to you Devils. Like, so you better be ready because we are loud.
The thing is, I want that though. I don't know about you, Jess, but I prefer the games where, because it drives United fans on. Then, you know, obviously with creating the atmosphere, if you've got a vocal away section or home section when United go away, it's always better when you've got a vocal opposition as well. Because if not, you can still generate the atmosphere, but it's kind of hard when you're not really competing against anything. So I think if the Newcastle fans are as loud as to us saying here, I can't wait for that.
Yeah,
I think it's just going to help United.
Audiences where like rival fans are sort of like playing off of each other a little bit. And I think that's kind of what the women's game needs a little bit more of. So this could be a fantastic opportunity because, do you know what? United fans can be just as loud. I just wish that we kind of put a little bit more into marketing our games and getting tickets sold and things like that. Because a 2,000 strong Toon Army, I have to say. But I have faith. I do have faith that United can hold their own. And if they don't, then I will just be severely disappointed and I will be screaming on behalf of everyone else anyway. So even if I have to hold it down myself, then I will.
Just to put in as well, by the way, if anybody who hasn't seen Joe in a game, he is the noise. By the way, this is him behaving. By the way, because when he's in an away game or a home game, we've also got Bernie as well. If you'll hear Bernie at some point as well. The two of them bounce off each other. It's like a mating call between the two of them. You know how animals like call each other out. Those two are like that, and then it gets it going. So Joe's like a jack in the box. He's just ready to bounce out, and you'll hear him.
That said, when you've went off the back of that, cheers, by the way, Lee, love that description. As soon as Jess started speaking there, you triggered it straight away. I'm like, hold on, you're loud, and you say you're going to hold it down, right? Well, I tell you what, at half time, me and you can have a sing off or something, right? When we move out halfway, we'll have a little shout off, see who's louder. Can someone bring a decibel recorder or something? You know, like let's find out.
Imagine. This is what I think the women's game does need more of, and I am so excited to have the opportunity on Sunday to proper screech my little lungs out if I have to.
It's too early for me. It's a 12 o'clock kickoff. I'm going to be half asleep still.
Once I've had that coffee in me, I will just apologise in advance, Connor. I'm going to be like grabbing you, screaming. Oh, it's going to be great. Looking forward to it already. This
sounds like it's going to be quite a fun affair. This actually, like, you drink plenty of coffee, you're going to be shouting. I've got a good challenge on you, Jess. Let's bring it on.
I'm sure you're not a Geordie, Jess. Are you not like born in a Geordie family or something?
No, none of them. Maybe a secret Geordie at heart or something. Maybe a distant relative. I don't know.
Well, I tell you what, I'll bring you one of these tops for full time when we beat you, right? And you can have one of them on.
Tell you what, if you actually beat us, I will wear one of those tops.
Is that the gauntlet? Is that right?
That's on video, you know. That's on video.
That we will
someone can supply a Manchester United top. If you beat us, I'll wear the Manchester United top, and you can get that all over the socials. There's the gauntlet thrown down, Jess, right?
Okay, fantastic.
Oh, I can't believe this. I didn't expect this to take this. Oh, God help us if we go 1-0 down.
I will cry.
You just shout, Joe, I'm coming for you, Jess. I'm coming for you.
I will be sprinting home. Once we call that full-time whistle, I will be gone.
I'm fast.
I was going to say, yeah, maybe we'll just hide in the pub or something.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Brilliant.
Yeah, Sporty, we're going to get to this, obviously, talking about Newcastle's rise as well, because obviously, I believe, I'm correct in saying, didn't Amanda say when, obviously, Newcastle, a couple of years ago, when obviously the takeover happened, didn't she say she wanted Newcastle in the Champions League within like 7 or 8 years or something like that? The women's side I'm on about here. I don't know whether I've misread that or something like that, but I'm sure that was something she put out there, which at the time everyone was like, all right, calm it down, because that's like back-to-back-to-back promotions, then straight into the Champions League. But the way you're going, I still don't think it's possible, but certainly getting into the WSL and like back-to-back promotions, I fully would expect Newcastle to at least try for that.
I think you're all right. Amanda did say that. I think it's an opportunity to grow the women's game, but also FFP as well. We talk about quite a lot being a Newcastle fan because we haven't got the global brand as what Manchester United have got. So for us to grow that, we can plow money into the women's game and it doesn't affect us. But anything we get incoming goes into our pot. So if Newcastle United women are playing Champions League, and I think if I'm right in saying they're looking at Europa League, am I right in saying as well that UEFA are looking at? So if you can get it in the higher tiers and have live TV revenues as well, yeah, it's only going to help the club. Why not? I don't know if we'll get 3 or 4 promotions on the hip, mind, but we're going to be I think we will be a championship side next season. And we will pinch players from the higher tier, WSL, to come down and play because it'll either be a similar wage or it might be squad rotated players and things like that. So it's looking good for us.
I would definitely say so. It's looking amazing. Like I would say within the next 4 years, 3 to 4 years, that you see Newcastle out there challenging European teams, challenging the top teams and such. 100% championship next year. The positivity and the growth. There's a lot of our lasses now who are younger. You've got the likes of Daisy Bird, who's went out and seeked private tutoring. Do you know that they want to be at that level? They want to be at the very top. They want to be challenging for every single big accolade and trophy that they can. It's a fantastic atmosphere to be in.
It certainly is. Obviously, I want to come back to that because I want to talk about obviously your season as a whole, and then obviously looking at the championship in just a second. Jess, I want to bring it back. Obviously, talking about the FA Cup. Obviously, we know how last season ended for us. I guess a kind of question in terms of, I put it on the tweet earlier in terms of obviously it's in the title as well. Can Marc's going to lead United back to Wembley? Do you think expectations have changed after how this season's gone? Do you expect us to get back there again? What are your kind of thoughts around the FA Cup? Because we're doing all right in the Conti Cup, not doing too well in the league. But in terms of the FA Cup, where are your kind of thoughts, Slay, in terms of what should we expect? How far do you think we should be aiming for?
I mean, really, I think we've got to be pushing for the final again. It's a big cup competition. Everyone kind of likes the FA Cup, basically. And we were finalists last year. Whilst our league performance has dipped, you could say like considerably, I really think that anything less than the final is obviously going to be a step down from last year. Whilst I understand that sometimes things aren't meant to be and you can get tough draws, stuff like that, I think we've got to be pushing for that final. We can't consider ourselves a big team or anything like that if we are not aiming to get to the FA Cup final. I think even more so due to our drop in kind of league form. For kind of Skinner, these cups could kind of be a bit of a saving grace for him. And United kind of as a team, the fans want to see silverware. We've not won anything really since Championship. And I think all we've got left this season, really, like that comment says, all in terms of success, it's the cups, and I think the FA Cup would save our season in a lot of ways. I think it would boost morale from everyone, from the team, coaching staff, players, us as fans. So I really do think we've got to be pushing on in this competition.
Can I ask you both a question? If you did go out of the FA Cup to Newcastle, how big of a shock is it for you two?
Go on, Connor, I'll let you start with that one.
If we were high flying in the league, it would still be a shock, but it would be a bit more. I'd be able to take it. If we lost on Sunday, there would obviously. I don't know whether you've seen. Obviously, there was a lot of, I guess, talk online about obviously the manager at the moment and things like that. I think that would really. It would be very tough to back him from next week should we go out on Sunday, because obviously we don't know what's going to happen in the Conti Cup. We've got Chelsea and City away after this game, like back to back. So two of the toughest games we're going to get all season. So I think people are underestimating Newcastle, but obviously, like I said, no disrespect to the side, but I think with the experience United have got, obviously, like I said, last season get to the final, that on paper this team should beat Newcastle on Sunday. But I'm still a little bit like, because of how hit and miss we've been in games, I'm not sure. But yeah, I think it would be huge when you look at it on paper. Tier 3 versus WSL, second in the WSL and final last year. If you then lose to a team that was in Tier 3, or Tier 4 last in Tier 3 now, it's a massive shot. But I would find it very tough to back the manager from next week should we go out.
Yeah, I think when you consider as well the investment that's already been made in United, obviously I know Newcastle have had a lot of money pumped into them, but if you think about the players we brought in over summer and the money we've spent on them, for me, I would be asking some serious questions, as to why we've brought in these players. And again, no disrespect to Newcastle because they are absolutely smashing it, but why we've then lost to a Tier 3 side. Because even with how well Newcastle are doing, a team that came second in the WSL last season, a team that was second in the FA Cup, got all the way to Wembley, should be beating Newcastle. So for me, serious questions would need to be asked. And that's a lot of that would be in terms of like, what are we doing behind the scenes? The players we're bringing in, the coaching we're giving, the tactics, something to me would be seriously wrong and would need looking at.
We were the highest spenders in the WSL last summer, so you'd expect something to clear. And as James Anderson has just said, that we've only had one home win this season in the league, which obviously with this being at LSV on Sunday, that's not great for us, is it? But we're not doing very well. I know in the Conti Cup we put 7 past Everton and beat Leicester as well, but in the league, our home form, obviously drawing to Leicester, losing to Liverpool, losing to City, drawing to Arsenal. These are not games. Well, all 4 of them were wins last season. So, no. Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, all 4 were wins. So, not too sure. It's not even entered my mind that we could potentially lose. I
can't think about it. Stress.
It's all on you. It's all on you. Like it was for the men's FA Cup when we played the Mackhams last weekend. It was us. It's all on us. We had to go and put a performance in and win. And we did both, thankfully. But this weekend, obviously with the lasses, it's yous have got to show up. Because we're confident and because we're blitzing teams and I'm talking double figures in some weeks. It's just ridiculous, the competition at the minute. And it's like all the girls and that we've interviewed and stuff are all saying, bring it on. How are they bringing on? I'm like, did you realise you're playing Man United? You didn't realise that, didn't you? I'm like, bring it on. Bring it on. The confidence is just, hopefully it's not overconfidence, but they're just really confident. I think it's an opportunity for our lasses to show, look, I've got talent. I might be a soon to be tier 2 individual and whatever, but a lot of them are of England at nationals, and they've obviously fell down the leagues for whatever reason, and our squad is so young. A lot of them will have this opportunity. It's like, do you know what? I'm going to showcase my talent today. Yes, you're playing for the team, but also you've got to be a little bit selfish and saying, I'm playing for myself, and it's a great opportunity to do that.
And to see the comment that Ross has just put in there, that's something I was going to piggyback on Lee from, is a lot of our players have had WSL experience. You've got ones who've played in the Championship for long-standing times, the likes of Bridget Galloway, Alicia Body, who I personally think come Sunday, I think Alicia Body is going to be a player who's going to cause Manchester United a lot of trouble, a lot. You've got other young players, you've got the likes of Anna Soulsby, who is raring to go. She's a Geordie as well. We've got a lot of homegrown talent who are going to come in and they want to take Newcastle to the next height. They want to come in and they want to prove a point against such a high-ranking team in Manchester United, just for the city, not just for the glory. It's for the city. They want to do it. They want to show we can do this, and I fully believe it. It's going to be a challenge going against players who are used to heavier schedules in yourselves, players who are used to maybe doing more international work. Your likes your Mary Earps, your Ella Toons. They've played at extremely high levels, but don't think that's just like they say, and hopefully it's not overconfidence, but I don't think any of that is phasing any of our lasses. They just want to go out there and they want to do their very best, and it's probably one of the best opportunities, if not the very best opportunity we've ever had to showcase with talent on a competitive stage as well. I love it.
I think that's the thing is, you both just kind of said there, Newcastle have got nothing to lose in this. No one's really expecting Newcastle to win. So you can just kind of, as you said, just go out there. As I've just brought a comment on screen a second ago, we've been so inconsistent this season. We don't know what United's going to show up. Whereas for yourselves, as you said, winning each week, the confidence is there. You've kind of got nothing to lose going into this. And it's from a Man United point of view, it's a little bit worrying because it's like, I don't know what United's going to show up. Obviously, we're going to talk lineups and things like that in a second. I don't know what lineup we're going to put out because it could be anybody, because of how much rotation we've seen this season. Injuries haven't helped, but we've seen all kinds of squads put out. So, yeah, it's not going to be as easy, I don't think. Well, I can see it going two ways. I really can. I'll come back to score predictions at the end, but this could either be really close or United could get the job done early and kind of walk away with it.
I'll be very surprised, Connor, if we change our game. I'll be surprised, even though it's Man United, because normally you would think, a lower league side will park the bus and, the low block, we won't. I think we'll play our normal game where we'll play with our wingers, the number 10, and trying to feed the strike. I think we'll play our normal game, high pressure, even though we are against, on paper, high quality opposition. Our game, Becky Langley won't change the game. So there'll be obviously little tweaks, don't get me wrong, into the system or what have you. And obviously there'll be full scouting. And obviously we know more about you than you do about us, which helps. But yeah, bring it on. We're full of confidence. We've got every right to be.
I'm like, we've got all kinds of fans in the chat as well. Obviously, I know Graham is a Sunderland fan, so that's not going to please you two. Obviously saying,
bring him on, bring him on.
You get your hot dog sausage in a big hard bun.
He's being nice about your team there, to be fair. Saying that obviously a lot of quality players. Which, to be fair, yeah, I know obviously some of the ones that you've worked with there as well. And yeah, I agree with you on the last bit as well, Graham. Hope that we do smash on Sunday as well.
One thing just putting there with Sunderland is that a lot of our players have played for Sunderland actually, because they were for a long period of time the North East top dogs.
Well, yeah.
In terms of women's football, that is, before that gets clipped up.
We spoke about this just, didn't we, on a show on Monday on another channel, on our other channel, obviously All for Women's Football, talking about Sunderland, the players they've produced in women's football, like obviously that have gone through there with bronze, and obviously I think Mead spent there, Jill Scott, all these kinds of players that are massive names came through Sunderland, kind of. Yeah,
I mean the North East is just. It's always just been like a hotbed of talent, but that goes for the men as well. Weirdly enough, if you look at some of the men's players that have kind of been playing for England in recent years, we're all from the northeast. I don't know what they're doing up there. I don't know what's in your water, but it's producing some serious talent. So yeah, I guess from a Newcastle perspective, it's good to see the players sticking to that kind of side of the tune.
I think that'll change in the next 5 to 10 years. Now we've got an established full-time environment now, because it was always Sunderland and it was kind of like Durham for a little bit of period of time, and now I think as we're expected to be promoted, local talent, that girls at 13, 14, 15, 16 come for the ranks, they'll all look at Newcastle and think, I want to go there. So you'll probably have a period of time for the next 5 to 10 years when Newcastle will be the team that brings out all the talent for the youth development. You just got to look at our youth teams, are blitzing teams as well, 8 or 9-0 every single week. It's crazy, man.
You've got the likes of Georgina Spragging down on the youth team, who regularly is scoring hat-tricks, 4 goals, 5 goals, and it's a regular thing for her, regular occurrence. And she's absolutely bossing it. We've just recently brought up Yasmin McQuaid as well. She was just too good for the development league, and she's walked into our first team. Walked into it, and she's comfortably got a place. She starts every game now, and again, she's homegrown talent. It is right. I think a lot of the talent is going to start coming from Newcastle. We're spotting a lot of the younger ones from around the country and bringing them in up here and honing them into just fantastic players who I truly believe in time will be like lifting World Cups. They'll be there lifting big trophies for England, for their national team. And again, I know I say it a lot, but I love that. I absolutely love that.
I wanted to ask you another question as well. Sorry, I'm like literally taking over your show.
No,
I wanted to ask.
This is easy. I can just sit back. So ask away.
I wanted to ask because what I'm slightly worried about is losing our Geordie DNA, because a lot of the girls that we have are Geordies, and a lot of the girls that we've signed in the summer all support Newcastle or have some sort of link with Newcastle. As we go up the league, which we expect to, so we'll be a championship side, I think naturally quality will take over rather than being loyal. And I just hope that, you obviously Man United fans, do you have many Manchester Mancunians in your side, or do you want more of it? Because for me, I want to see in a matchday squad at least 5 Geordies in that side. And I know you can't always ask because naturally money talks and you'll sign, world stars. You've only just got to look at Chelsea, for example. And how do you feel about that?
I mean, I think we're starting to see kind of players leaving maybe that you would have thought would have stuck around because they were supposedly United fans. Example, Russo. But in terms of our current squad, in all fairness, we've got a few kind of Mancs. We've got Ella Toon, Zell, Leah Galton, someone else I was thinking of. It's just Gabby George is obviously back. I know she's out injured, but she's kind of grown up being a United fan. I think with any team, though, it's going to go. Like you say, it becomes less important. Loyalty just kind of stops sort of existing almost. And it's sad to see, but I think it's one of the downsides maybe of a team progressing and getting better in some ways. You want to hold, especially for you guys, you'll want to hold this team of Geordies together for ages, for as long as you can. But in a couple of years' time, or when you're in the WSL, suddenly the players that are loyal to the club and, maybe have supported the club their whole lives, they just might not cut it anymore. And it's sad. It really is. But that's just kind of the way football goes. It's sad. And then players will end up falling kind of back down the leagues. But that being said, we've just got Gabby George back in this season. She's like a long-standing United fan. She played in the academy. And this is kind of, 6 years after we came back as a club, and we've just got her back. So there are kind of pros and cons to it. But I think ultimately you will see a fall in kind of your existing players, because you have to. When you start buying in internationals, which will happen, they've got to go somewhere. And you're going to be buying in players with the intention of them going into your starting 11. And you already have an 11. So someone needs to move around. And I think it's just completely inevitable, really. It's just part of the game.
It is, isn't it? We'll just bring Carly Telford out of retirement. We'll bring Lucy Bronze back as well, as we get in the WSL.
Oh, Bronzy could finish her career actually there, couldn't she, or something like that?
Could do, yeah.
I'd predicted that. I was talking to me old man a few days ago, and I said I would like to see in like a retirement year for Bronzy to come up and play for Newcastle for a bit. I'd be lush that. I'd love that.
I think it's a tough one, isn't it? I've got to be careful what I say on it, I guess. But I think when you're looking at the squad, we've always all said obviously United this season. It looks to me on paper that the squad we have this season is better than last season. However, I think looking at the squad, the kind of that unity is gone because we sold so many players that were there. I guess that were there for a few years. There was a lot of friendships that kind of built, and then we let 14 go over the summer. We brought in better players than probably the ones we let go, but I feel like looking at the squad this season, that unity is not as strong as it was last year, and it's taken a bit of time. Obviously, not just on the pitch. We had a lot of mine. Our assistant went, a couple of the other backroom staff went. There's been a lot of changes this season, so it might explain as to why we're looking a little bit dysfunctional this season because of how much we've kind of lost. So I think you need a balance. You've mentioned them there in terms of the pure United fans. It's those 4 really. We've probably got a few in the squad that are United fans. I know, John, you're saying Leah Galton's Leeds. I think the point was obviously she came through the ranks. She's been there since the Championship side and kind of stuck with us since then. Because we could go into Mary Earp. She's a Liverpool fan, isn't she? So is what it is.
Speaking of Mary Earps, what are you? Because I've been keeping a very close eye on the Mary Earps situation. Do you think Mary Earps is going to be leaving Manchester United? I don't think it's going to happen in January. I'm pretty certain that's dead and buried now. But do you think Mary Earps is going to end up leaving? And if so, where do you think she's going to go?
It's a 2-part question, isn't it? I mean, me personally, I hope she goes now, but she's not going to. It's a real tough one. I'm going to keep my answer short because I think people have heard my things on this. I wanted her to go last summer. We shouldn't have rejected Arsenal's offer. I wanted her to go this window. That's not happening because the interest just isn't there. So I expect her to go in the summer. To me, it's between Arsenal, PSG, Barcelona. It'd be between those 3 But she's not staying past the summer. It'll be one of those 3 that she goes to.
Definitely.
But I just wish we'd have got some money for her rather than letting her go for free again.
Yeah, I very much agree. I think when the interest first came, everyone was very much like, no, we don't want her to go. And then from everything I've seen, heard, her attitude stinks. So suddenly the fans are just like, well, maybe actually, if you don't want to be here, then good day to you, basically. We've bought in a replacement keeper. My attitude is she's going in summer regardless. Stick her on the bench for just having a crap attitude and chuck the new keeper in goal, basically. And let that be it. And eventually she'll just go on a free, and it is what it is.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Obviously, when we're talking, we may as well have a quick chat about this now, Jess. Because I know obviously we have spoken about this. Obviously, not that one. James's comment saying Fallon should be starting on Sunday, and I thought it would kind of follow suit with that. But I mean, Jess, just very quickly, would you want Fallon to start on Sunday? Obviously, I think I know your answer.
I do.
To be fair, I do. One, I think even if Mary Earps was absolutely fine and didn't have an attitude issue and there was none of this drama surrounding it, I'd probably still want Fallon to start because I rate her as a keeper anyway, and it's a cup game, which is normally a good opportunity. But on top of that, I think we need to get her integrated into the team. It's difficult to integrate a keeper because you can't have more than one keeper on the pitch at any time. So if Mary Earps is going, I think we need to kind of get her in, get her settled into the team as quickly as possible. I do have some concerns with Fallon. I think her distribution is a bit questionable, but things like that can be worked on. And I think she needs game time, really. So I think we don't have that many games. And like I say, there's only one goalkeeper position. So to me, she needs to be playing more.
I'm intrigued, Joe. You said there that would you rather Fallon in goal than Mary?
For pretty much most of the reasons that Jess was saying there, you can't have 2 keepers on the pitch at the same time. You need to make sure your keeper's ready for the game. I think Mary Earps has got the time, the chemistry, the experience with the Manchester United women's squad to be able to go into a cup game and not feel any nerves no matter what. I personally think Fallon hasn't had enough time yet with the team to go in on Sunday when there's quite a lot of eyes on you, quite a lot of pressure. I would rather see Fallon. I think there's more likely a chance that she slips than what Mary Earps does. And that's mostly based on skill, mostly based on talent and time with the team. So yeah, I would much prefer Fallon to start, definitely.
See, it's interesting now. It's known from the outside. There's been a couple of comments we've been talking about her saying, Bob's coming there saying she's the best keeper in the world. Why would you want? I mean, if people heard me last season, I don't think she's the best in the world. I said that last season when she was winning all of her. So people can't just say to me, "Oh, you're only saying that now." I said this last season. I didn't think she was. I think there's a very strong English bias towards her, and I think there's better keepers around.
Merps for England is different to Merps for United. Merps for England will do anything, apologise for her mistakes, doesn't mind making a save. Merps for United wants to literally punch the defenders if they let an attacker go through. I've said this time and time again on this show. If she makes a save for United, it's like she's doing the Lord's work, basically. I don't know how else to put it. It's not like it's literally her one job as a keeper. And
isn't she like a TikTok star now?
Yeah, I think that's where her time's going. And fair play, I really, really rated her, and it's only this season that it's not that I don't rate her, because I do agree that she is. I probably would have said last season she was the best keeper in the world. This season, I don't think she's the best keeper in the world. However, I would say that she has the ability to be the best keeper and is still up there with them. It's just her attitude, you don't even need kind of any insider gossip. You just sit there at Lee Sports Village and you see the way that she interacts with the other players. And like I said months ago, that every time she makes a save, she just looks like she's doing the rest of the team a favour.
See, I disagree. I want her to play, because for the lasses, there's nothing better than scoring against England's number one. That's just simple as that. We've got a striker, Bridget Galloway, banging their goals in. If she scores off camera, she will talk about that for weeks and weeks and weeks. And it's something like it's not a trophy, of course not, but it's a little, you know what, that looks good that I scored against Mary Earps. So from a selfish point of view, you want to play the best side.
Yeah.
With what you had said about Mary Earps, do you think then if the Newcastle fans are chanting at Mary Earps, she's gonna like trigger a bit? Is she gonna, do you think she'll lose her career with her?
I don't think so personally. She's not.
I think Joe wants to chant at her.
No, I think at the end of the day, she is a professional. And I don't have a problem with keepers shouting at their defenders, by the way, if like a genuine mistake has been made. That's different. It's just if
it's the relentlessness of it. I think that's the problem.
It's just a normal passage of play has happened. And, attackers are going to beat defenders. Defenders don't necessarily have to make a mistake. And it's that kind of situation. It's not when like really stupid mistakes have been made. It's just every time she has to lightly tap the ball away or catch it or anything like that.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not a huge fan, and yeah, just take my word for it. We'll be better off when Fallon takes over from next season. Fingers crossed.
Sorry, we've got Grace Donnelly. Grace Donnelly's better in anyways, and she's an absolute class act. So big up Grace Donnelly.
I'll get to a couple more of these comments because obviously Danielle's bigging you two up as well. There, so obviously the work you do for the women's side, both on camera and also in the stand as well. So it's a nice comment for you both there. I don't know if you know who that is, but I thought I'd highlight it anyway.
Yeah, so it mentions on Twitter and she comes to the game. So nice one, Danielle. Thank you.
Yes, Danielle.
Yeah, we have to be careful because yes, but yeah. We'll say
Angela's another one of the loyal Newcastle fans, another one who's absolutely brilliant.
She'll be there as well.
Yes,
yeah,
we have heard. We look forward to that.
I've just seen Danielle, right, guys. Sorry, but for a second, I am not the leader. That is Bernie, and I don't want to be getting battered down at the Leigh Sports Village off Bernie for thinking I'm the leader, right? So Bernie is the leader, everyone, right? That is who the leader is, not me. I'm just second in command.
And I must stress as well, when you hear Bernie, she's in the home end as well, by the way. So good luck to you.
Do you know what stand you're in, by the way? Like, do you know which?
I can't remember, Joe. But obviously now we've got the press pass. I think we're gonna. I think actually we're in the gantry now, so God knows where that'll be. You'll hear Joe high up in the stand in the stadium somewhere. But I don't know, because we try to get near the away end as much as possible. So
that's so, Andrew. So if you're in East Stand, that's why East Stand is shut for us because we can't buy any, because we're in South. We're behind the goal because we've been moved. Usually we're in the stand in Terrace in North, but we've been moved to South Stand, so we're behind the other goal. So you'll be on our right as we look towards the pitch, Jess. So we're looking to our right hand side when we're there, especially if you're FK. That is down our end. So I look forward to it. The gantry is right behind East Stand as well. So if you're in there as well, you'll be right above your away bit.
You'll hear us before you see us.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be really good. Certainly from that point of view. There's a couple more questions. Earlier, we did ask this a bit earlier on. So at least over 1,000, I think, from what the guys were saying here. Officially sold over 1,000, potentially up to 2, which, like I said, is probably about what United are going to bring, about 2.5, something like that. I hope not. I hope we get a bit more between now and Sunday, but
You'll get more if you get more of Man United weren't playing, surely.
I think that's the problem, isn't it? Obviously, with the men's side playing. But to be fair, I know a lot of people that are going and then leaving literally as the full-time whistle goes straight over to Old Trafford. So it can be done, but it's taking that risk of getting out, because LSV is a nightmare to get out of after games anyway, because there's only one way in and one way out. So it's chaos getting out of there. But yeah, I think that's probably not helped our attendance, that's for sure. There's a question here before I move on to kind of players and all things like that. Lewis is asking, do you wish it was Old Trafford? I don't know whether that's to us Man United fans or Newcastle, but would you two prefer it there?
All day long.
Yeah,
I would much prefer it.
Yeah, because obviously, I was at Old Trafford earlier in the season when we won 3-0 in the cup. That was a great night. But in terms of the lessons for the experience again, I mean, they used to play in the St James Park. Don't get me wrong, they get a good crowd, like 28,000 for Tier 4 at the time, which is incredible. But from a selfish point of view, I would love to. The lasses are used to, and you've got to remember as well, this team isn't like, oh my God, even at the Leigh Sports Village, they used to play in Kingston Park, which is also a rugby ground. So they're used to getting a good amount of playing in front of a few thousand people. So I won't have any issues on that. But yeah, you would want Old Trafford all day long, surely.
See, I wouldn't personally, but if it depends how many United would sell, because we've always said on here that, you know, if you've got 6,000 fans, for example, 6,000 at LSV is better than 6,000 at Old Trafford because it just looks so empty and the noise doesn't travel, whereas in a closed stadium it does. So if it was guaranteed you'd get 40, 50,000, 100% Old Trafford, because obviously you want that there. But I think just looking at the ticket sales as they are, I would keep it at LSV just to try and make it a bit of a fortress like we had last season. Obviously, we're not at the moment, not in the league, but just try and get a bit of home.
You just keep reminding me of that.
And the fact that it's like live streamed on the FA player as well, isn't it?
Yeah. And yeah, it is obviously. Who is it that play at LSV? I don't know what.
Leopards? Are they Leopards?
I can't remember who it is. Yeah, you might. It's definitely rugby league, isn't it? It's not union, but
I think they're Leopards, but don't quote me on that.
Not entirely sure on that one. Welcome, Mia, to yourself as well. There was a question a bit further up before I forget. Talking obviously about Newcastle, do they share the training centre with the men's, or do you have your own separate facility?
Again, we're quite obviously since turning professional, they're at the academy. So they're with the under 18s across there, and also they use Kingston Park's facilities as well. So they're in between the two. But eventually, we are hoping that if Newcastle United, the men's team, move out of the training ground, because let's face it, it's an awful training ground, and get their own, I would imagine that'll be handed over to the women. So as of yet, no, we've got to share it with the academy, not the first team.
No, that's fair enough. I think, well, we've seen recently, obviously, Man City, I think it came out, was it today? I think it came out, obviously, they're getting a brand new facility for their women's team as well, spending 10 plus million on it, which is, again, don't like bigging up our rivals, but fair play to them, because I'd love to see United do that. Albeit the new facility at Carrington for the women's team, I've heard nothing but good things about that. So
it looks like
I think City's personally one of the leading teams in the world for women's football. It's fantastic what they do with their women's team. It's the facilities they've set up for them, the facilities they're going to set up for them, as you've mentioned. It's hard not to mention them when you talk about women's football. They are revolutionary. They really are.
Yeah, certainly. I'd throw Arsenal into that as well, to be fair. Certainly from a social media point of view, I do like... it's annoying how good Arsenal are with their media. Like, even today, obviously, they signed Emily Fox. Like, all their media things around that, it's just... Why can't United do that? It's so annoying. And yeah, the question has been, I can't believe I didn't... Of course, Lee played That's in the middle of Lee. Of course it is. So there we go. That's not a question. I've never thought to think about it, but there we go. Right, Jess, we've spoken a little bit about kind of obviously Mary Earps. From a rotation team lineup point of view, I guess it's a two-part question. What do you want to see us line up with on Sunday from like a whole team's point of view? Do you want to see some rotation? And what do you think he's actually going to do? Because I imagine they're probably a little bit different. Or they might be the same. I don't know.
I think we will see a little bit of rotation. Like I've already said, I'd like to see Fallon in there instead of Mary for numerous reasons that we've kind of already been through. In terms of the rest of the squad, I think, yeah, again, I'd like to see a little bit of a rotated lineup. However, to be honest, we've got good squad depth. I know we've got a few injuries at the minute, but there shouldn't be any reason why any of our players basically couldn't go on and sort of win that game. For me, I'd like to see probably the same back four. I know we probably might change there, maybe bring in Gemma Evans, but for me, I'd like to see a solid back four that we're sort of used to. I think the game's come at quite a good time, really. We've just had a winter break. I know the girls have been away in Malta for like some warm weather sort of friendlies, but everyone should be really well rested. So I think it's a good chance to get a lot of people on the pitch, basically, and try and get a few goals early and sort of seal the game nice and early.
I think that's kind of where I'm leaning towards. I hope that we put out a stronger side to begin with, whatever Marc thinks is his strongest side this season, and try and get the game done early. Because I say if we underestimate Newcastle, go 1-0 down, I know you can then bring them players off the bench, but it's a bit of a problem. So I think Sarah, obviously, Guerrero coming back. I don't think she's going to start purely just because she only played 30 minutes in Malta. So if we're going to see, I imagine it's off the bench. But I think it's going to be what I think he'll go for is Zell, Ladd, and Tooney. It'll be those three in midfield. But wouldn't be against seeing Lisa in there as well on that one. It's taken 44 minutes for something like that. You can tell Barry's not on the show. That's not come up for a while. On that one, Lanzau, good to see you as well. I was just going to have to go and get a trophy. I think the scene depends on it. Yeah, we spoke about that a little bit earlier on in terms of what that might mean from a United point of view. Should we go out on Sunday as well? And no. It's the short answer. I don't think he does know his strongest 11. I think that's probably why we've seen so much rotation on that one. Leo, come back to yourself and obviously then Joe following this one. So for people who may have not seen Newcastle, who should we watch for? Or who should we watch for? Who's going to stand out? Who's your kind of players to watch from a little bit of a concern, maybe from a United point of view?
I think in defence, you probably could pick a couple, but Charlotte Potts has the experience. She's playing high up here as well. She's very classy. She likes to bring the ball out. She can even play in midfield. If you put on centre midfield, she'll look just as good. She's very classy on the ball, a leader as well, so she'll talk left and right. We have been playing 3 at the back, but I think Becky might change to a 4 at the back just for a little bit of more extra protection. Don't think the game and how we play will change. I just think having 4 at the back will give a little bit more security and maybe just having someone sit in front. So I think it'll be Potsy. I think midfield, from what I can see, and I know Joel will have you say in a minute, but it seems to me that the way we're playing at the moment, that Alicia Body dictates the tempo. She wants to get it. She'll spray it. She's a very clever, very young girl, only 19. She likes a very technical player outside the boots. You'll notice that straight away. She has her shin pads really low, kind of like in the Jack Grealish mold, and she'll have like a hair bubble and big hair at the back as well. So you'll notice that straight away. She'll want the ball, she'll demand it, and we've only just signed her in the summer. She's a great buy. And then the goals up top is Bridget Galloway. I've said to this, Joe, loads of times that when we won the other day, we put 7 in. She didn't score and she was right huffy. But I like that. It's the selfish point of view of a striker not scoring. If she doesn't score, yeah, the team have won. But you can tell when, the players come over and, clap the fans off and she's proper moody. But I like that. It's the selfish point of her that she hasn't scored. And, of course, from the wingers, whoever plays Tyler Dodds, you get the ball to her. Again, we signed her from Sunderland, a Newcastle fan. So all she wants to do is, it's a proper old school winger. Give me the ball, I'll cross it in. I know it's simple, but it works for her because it causes so many issues. So I would say those 4.
For mine, I mean, I've already obviously said agree with Lee. Alicia Body's definitely going to be a massive problem for you. I think as well, one who's going to be a massive problem is going to be Katie Barker, who has been a long-term Newcastle United women's player. But as of late, Katie Barker, if you ask me, has been in an absolute prime of her career. She's shifted into a different position, playing more of the wing, more of like sort of the way you see Maxie's in that play, driving in, coming in onto the box on the left side. She's absolutely brilliant at that. She's proven that she can score as well still. Filling in a striker role whenever Bridget comes off. You often see Katie Barker drop up in the front. I think she's going to be a massive issue. I do agree with Lee that we're going to play the 4 at the back, but more with Amber Stobbs in a central defensive midfield role where she can drop in. We also saw on Sunday Emma Kelly was dropping into defence quite a bit as well. So I think we're preparing for that sort of backtracking roles, all the faster midfielders, Emma Kelly, Hannah Greenwood, they're all ready to be able to push forward like they normally do, whether they leave it to Alicia Body to push forward or they all bombard, which has been a very big tactic of ours, just everyone going at the ball, getting more bodies into the box. So I would say your biggest threats are going to be Emma Kelly, Naomi Bedeau on that left wing. She's unbelievable. Katie Barker linking up with Naomi Bedeau and Alicia Body. Without doubt, there's a lot of talent there for you to watch out for.
See, I don't like that. I was hoping you were just going to say one player, and then it would be like, that's fine. That's
how good our squad is, that we don't have just one standout player. There's several, and they're all.
I could go on.
And it's like the way we've been playing in the leagues is that I don't think we can do it at a higher level, but we play 3 at the back and they'll join the midfield. So effectively, when we're in attack, it's 1 against 1 sometimes at the back, because we're so dominant in possession. We can go forward and everybody's in the opposition's half.
Yeah, there was one point on Sunday where we were having 4 forwards. There was 4 people diving forward and we're leaving literally maybe Charlotte Potts and Naomi Badeau at the back, sometimes just Charlotte Potts alone, and we were able to absolutely dominate. And every single one of our players is confident in going forward. Everyone.
Is I don't know why I just randomly thought. Is Naomi the player you got from Wolves, or am I thinking of somebody else?
Yeah.
I thought I'd seen it before.
I'm a massive fan of Naomi Badeau and the work she does.
Joe
is honestly
loves that.
I think my favourite two Newcastle players right now are Anna Soulsby and Naomi Badeau. I'm hoping Anna Soulsby's going to get some time on Sunday, because you will see passion like you have never, ever seen before in a player. She is as passionate as Alan Shearer. She's got the... she's a proper Geordie Radji. I mean, I see at the end of games, and I'll be like, Yari, and she'll be, Ari, mate, how's it gone? Like, good game, that won it. It's like, well, cheers, Anna. But she's got that passion, and it shows on the field. And then Naomi Badeau, she's coming in, you would expect that to be a Geordie when she speaks to us, and she doesn't have the Northeast accent. I'm like, hold on. I thought you were from the Northeast. She's from the Midlands, and like, honestly, she is fantastic. She's a brilliant wing back. She plays a defensive role. Like, I used to think Potty was the best defender we've got, and I would compare Potty to the likes of Sven Botman. Honestly, Naomi Badeau is just as good. I love having them two at the back. It's fantastic. Potty and Naomi Badeau.
I think we're also, just to be on the negative, is that we've never been tested properly this season. And I think this will be where. Now, we played Fylde, and it was a crazy game. Fylde scored 3 against us. Great goals, mind you. We'd scored 11. But we haven't come against a team where we're expecting them to have more possession than us, because it's normally us that will dominate the game. So I think it'll be interesting to see from our side how Becky learns from this game, because let's be honest, he's our favourites to go through. But we're coming up against a team that, Grace doesn't really get tested in goal. She probably gets 1 or 2 shots at most weeks. She's probably going to have to face up to 10 potentially. So Grace and the defence are going to be after the top of the game, and it'll be interesting to see how we cope with that, because I've not seen that this season. So, and that's even against Burnley, who it looks like it's a 2-horse race in our league, but even against Burnley, she wasn't proper tested. So from that side of things, I'm looking forward to seeing how that we cope, because let's face it, we will be promoted, I feel, and we'll be playing against higher opposition next season. So it's not, we don't want to use it as a test game, but it is a test at the same time as well, because we're playing against Manchester United in the WSL. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at Mia's comments. Yeah, it's.
I like it, Mia.
That's funny.
Mia, do you want us to bring a top for you as well?
No, she'll add it to her collection.
Oh, you're calling Mia out now. I think, I agree, and I think that's what a lot of the comments were just saying. As I was reading while you guys were talking now, obviously when you're saying about bring, obviously 4 forwards, bombing on and things like that, because it was a Halifax you played on Sunday. I'm pretty sure it was. At the weekend. Obviously, then when you're coming up against United, if you do that against us, and you've got Toon, Galton, Paris, Mallard, Jace, whoever it is, some of these are Champions League winners and so on, going the other way. Like you said, it's a different type of test. Not that Newcastle maybe can't handle it, but I've seen the dynamic between you two here. I think it's Joe's more on the just. No, we're going to beat you at any cost. I think Lee's a little bit more reserved. And
I'm a little bit reserved.
I'm running on the pitch.
It's because I've done YouTube for 8 years, and if I say something that it's clipped up later, we get battered. So I'm quite thinking, okay, I've said that, it's out there. So, but okay, so we've got loads of confidence, but yeah, we probably do have flaws, but we haven't had them weakness tested this season, because there hasn't been a team capable of. And Man United are the first one that can't hurt with.
Such a good opportunity for Newcastle. Like you say, in your current league as you stand, it's not competitive particularly. Not for you guys anyway. So to come up, or come down, I should say, and play Man United is fantastic for the players, because it's difficult to kind of grow as a player if you're just turning teams over sort of 6-0, 7-0 every single weekend. How can you improve when you're just sort of walking all over everyone? So I think it's such a good opportunity. It's a great opportunity for the Newcastle coaching staff, because they can look at this game and go, right, this is where, we actually showed weaknesses, because you will not be able to get away against any WSL side. You can't get away with sending like 9 players forward. So it's going to be a really good opportunity. It's going to cause you to maybe adapt some tactics, play in different formations. People are going to have to be more disciplined in their positions. I think that's going to be a big one. So yeah, just a really great opportunity, I think, for the Newcastle players.
I agree. Because if you look at our games, it's like, because we're full time now, we've noticed now where even when occasionally the games are tight, fitness kicks in. After an hour, we're still the same. Whereas like the semi-pro girls are absolutely heavy breathing, then knackered after 60, 65 minutes. And because of that, concentration then laps mentally and physically. So we start banging in 3 or 4 towards the end, and that's just because of fitness alone.
I think that's the thing. Again, I don't want to keep going back to Stourbridge, but obviously Stourbridge have had 3 promotions back to back, went from 6 to 3, and their jump from 4 to 3 to the league now. I mean, obviously with yourselves and Burnley, Wolves, and these kind of, they said it was such a big difference, and they're not even full time either. They said the difference in fitness from tier 4 to 3 is massive. And then, as you said, if you're full time as well, playing against girls that I know for a fact, a lot of these full time jobs on the side, and potentially can only do 2 sessions a week and then playing, that's why, like I said, Newcastle should go up, and then it'll be really interesting to see how they get on in the Championship next season as well. It's led me on nicely into a question. NZ put this a while ago now, in terms of what your reaction would be if you were beaten comfortably. Let's say it was like a 5 or 6-0. Would it be a big disappointment, or would you just kind of think, well, we weren't expected to win and kind of accept it?
Well, Joe's expected to win, so the pressure's on him for that question. But for me, it's a learning curve. I think, as Jess was just in there, it is, because even if we go out 1-0 and we're tied, we'll learn something from the game. I think you learn more when you get beaten, and we haven't been beaten for 30 games, which is mental just saying that. But it's like I say, it'll be coming up against world-class opposition here, and England stars and international stars as well. They'll take something away, they'll break the game down, and it's a great opportunity for Becky Langley to have a look, Andy Cook and so on, the coaching team. And not just that, and it's like, it's not just the coaching team, we've got a small social media team. It's a big day for them. It's a big day for Colin with photographer. It's not just the players on the pitch, because a lot of these people who have been with Newcastle when we're being amateur, and Colin, bless him, has been with Newcastle for 13 years, amateur photographer, and this is a big day for him as well. So it's bigger than just football. It's like, only 2 years ago, you were talking just before there about like Stourbridge and all that being semi-pro, all these girls were as well. So it's a massive day for everybody and for the whole lot of it, and we're looking forward to it, and we'll learn something from everything from ticketing, because that was a fiasco, from the fans, even ourselves, production. We'll try and produce videos. We'll learn something on the day. We're always learning on all the way across to that missed chance that could have got 1-1 in the 76th minute or whatever. We'll learn something from the day, and we can't wait.
I'll just say it straight up as well. Yes, the pressure's going to be on me with that question, right? I will stand in the Manchester United top that you guys donate, and I will cry proudly, just so you know, okay? I will cry and I will do it proud. I am on a real say we go down and we get sort of humbled. I'm not fussed. I'm glad to be here. It's a huge moment. It's probably the biggest tie. I think it is the biggest tie in Newcastle United women's history. Yeah. It's huge. This for me is just the moment, is putting everything, all the work that me and Lee do aside. As a true fan, this moment just to go down there and compete, just for our players to go out and play against some of the best in the world. Some of the players I've watched for a while. You mentioned JC before. I think she's brilliant. Ella Toon, I think she's brilliant. To be able to see the likes of my favourite player, and I saw as we go against Ella Toon. How are the lasses? Like, I'm happy, and if we lose, we lose. Fair be it. We've come a long way. We've done really well. Pick ourselves back up and come back next year and beat us. Simple.
And it's a sign of things to come. This is the first big game that we've got, and we'll have more. This is the first one, and that's why everyone's excited about it, because we're going to go up. It's a 2-horse race, and then we're in the Championship, and then even if you don't win the Championship, you can still finish second, get promoted. Do you know what I mean? So it's good, and I'm looking forward, and it's really, really positive. All things Newcastle United women ever since Mike Ashley left the club. And you can say that about the men, the whole area. And the good thing about our owners actually come to the games. Amanda was there just the weekend. She wants to see. She's in the dressing room. She's taking photos. She's like having cuddles, and she's a fan herself as well. So we've got the owners backing them as well, which is fantastic. And not many women's clubs can actually say that. We do. Our owners are there watching the likes of Newcastle, yes, Halifax, semi-pro, but they're still there. They're still going to the games, watching it, and they've got aspirations to get into the Champions League, and they're ambitious. So we're on the journey. I feel like I'm on an X Factor show here. We're on a journey, aren't we?
To piggyback off Lee there as well, just to add to this, how special it is with Amanda Staveley. Amanda, I got some footage of Amanda standing there taking pictures with all of the children at the side, and she was mobbed by a good 50, 60 people. She took the time, she took pictures with them all. She's then also taken the time to go upstairs and out of her way to another one of her fans who's currently in a wheelchair and sign her wheelchair, talk to her about like her own issues and stuff that she's got going on with her son and such. And to have that connection from a CEO, you almost forget for a second that she's a CEO. You just think it's some person who's got a few quid in the pocket walking around the Kingston Park Stadium, and it's not. This is Amanda Staveley, one of the owners of a club. So like, not to like mollycoddle too much, but honestly, thank Amanda Staveley and all of the ownership and what they've done for the women's game. It is absolutely massive now up here, and it's thanks to them pushing it quick.
I think that's the thing. Obviously, from a United point of view, Jess, obviously we speak about this. Well, I think I said on here a while ago, I think David De Gea has been to more women's games than a lot of our board members have been to in the last kind of couple of years, and he's not even at the club anymore, and he's still been to games this season supporting the girls. I think that tells you everything about how much the people in the top United value our women's team right now, which is a whole other conversation, which I don't really want to get into because I'll get myself into trouble. But I think when you're looking at kind of what Newcastle have kind of do for the women's team, as we said, obviously talking about investment, it's not just investment, it's actually, as Joe just said, they're actually turning up, being present. I think sometimes it's actually more valuable than just the money side of the game as well.
100%, because I think it creates a good atmosphere, a good environment. It builds that kind of like one club philosophy that a lot of teams try and preach about, but don't quite execute. Like you just said, I don't think any of the men's players particularly go to women's games. Not that they have to, but it's just funny when David De Gea turns up, and he's long-standing. He's always said he has a good relationship with Mary Earps. Mary Earps always talks very highly of him. They talk about like the GK Union. I think that was the only real kind of like family in United. It was just amongst the keepers. So yeah, I mean, I look at Newcastle and what they're kind of creating, and it's good. It really is positive. It's pushing. But not only is it pushing Newcastle in the right direction, I like to think that it's then driving other teams to kind of do that, and not just teams from, Newcastle's tier 3 or even the Championship, but up to the WSL. United should be looking at what Newcastle are doing and thinking, well, how do we kind of emulate that in some ways? Newcastle are really kind of setting a bit of a precedent with how well they're pushing their women's team. We touched on before, Arsenal and their marketing. And I think Board United need to just sort of improve a lot of what they're doing sort of behind the scenes. And it's not a hard job, it's just creating a nice working environment. I think maybe with Man United, there's been a lot going on behind the scenes, like a hell of a lot, weekly club statements and everything else that I won't particularly go into detail with. But I think it's probably created a not great atmosphere, let's say. And that kind of wears on players. It's no different to having a day-to-day job. If you don't really like your work environment, or if there's a lot going on with the higher ups, if there's sort of, there's not kind of trust, or there's rumblings, people leaving, bosses, that kind of thing, it creates an unhealthy working environment. And it's no different with a football team. There's not been security with what's happening with the team. We don't know where investment is coming from. So I'm just hoping that in this kind of second half of the season, now we've got sort of a solid investment in some aspects, that maybe we will start driving forward and seeing some positive changes as well.
I certainly hope so. We spoke about this obviously on Monday with obviously the 25% and the different, sporting directors that are coming in, that the women's team need to be a big part of that, because I can tell you right now there's a lot going on behind the scenes which is not good, and I'm so sick of hearing things about United that is always negative in the way that we handle various things. So I just hope moving forward that we actually start to improve things there, because hopefully then results will improve on the pitch. There was a couple of other comments, Jess, obviously from a United point of view. Obviously, we spoke about this a little bit before we went live, obviously with Nikita Paris. She's been on form this season. Obviously, we were talking about Jace earlier. She is people know this by now, my favourite player to watch, because what she can do with the football is just ridiculous, how she can beat a player. But Paris, as we said, top scorer last year in all comps, she was for us, and she started this season already. She scored in the friendly in Malta. It's going to be tough, isn't it, who he picks on that right-hand side, because you said Jace is Jace, world-class player that she is, but Paris right now can't really take her out of the team.
No, I think for me, Paris has probably offered a little bit more overall. Whilst I agree with you, Connor, Jace has been probably my favourite player to watch. I've watched her play and I get excited. She's on the ball and I'm just waiting for something to happen. I'm waiting for a bit of magic because I know that she can produce it. My only kind of negative with her is that her final product or her final decision making can be a little bit wavy. I think that is improving and there's a lot of scope for that to improve. But for me, you've got to start Keats. Or if you're going for your strongest 11 and you're not looking to rotate, I think she's in there on the strongest 11 because she has just been fantastic so far this season and has been consistent. So for me, she would probably start over Jace, but I wouldn't exactly complain at either of them starting, to be honest with you.
Yeah, as long as it's Mallard down the middle, I'm happy with that. I think I'll take that and then play whoever on the left. Obviously, the news came out today, if people hadn't already seen. Lucia Garcia is obviously another player that's coming to the end of her contract. Her contract talks have also stalled. So we've got more issues, obviously, around her and her contract as well. And as I just said there, I'm a bit tired of hearing how bad things are behind the scenes. So hopefully we can get Garcia tied under the contract. Otherwise, that's another player that's going to walk out the door for free in the summer. I don't think it's any quick. Just look at the All for United TikTok. It's just me posting clips of Jace nutmegging players and doing all the crazy things that she does with the football because, she's just a joy to watch on that one.
She's one of my favourite WSL players to watch, I must admit. She is fantastic at what she does. Not to big the opposition up too much, but give you dues, you've done it for us a bit. Jace is just phenomenal player. She's one of them players that, just every time she touches that ball, she's going to produce something magical, something wonderful. So I am very worried. And I was surprised to see you would rather have Paris start over her, but I don't know who I would rather have start, to be fair. When I think about it, it's hard between the two of them because Nikita Paris has found her form again and she is in fine form at the minute. So worrying between them two.
With Jay, I always say that she just takes the it takes the piss out of defenders sometimes. I reference it all the time against West Ham. We're 3-0 up, and she's there doing keepy-ups on the edge of the box. Just absolutely.
She's going to be going against Charlotte Potts. And I'll tell you, I think Charlotte Potts is going to give her a little bit of a run for her money. If Jace is playing, I would like to see that come together. That would be very interesting.
It's certainly going to be, as we've kind of said throughout the show, it's going to be good for your defenders as well as your attackers. Obviously, from a defensive point of view, what United are going to offer going forward, this is going to be the toughest test they've faced. So hopefully, as you've kind of both just said, they'll learn a lot more in this game than they have throughout the whole season playing against players that are obviously not as or not at the level of some of these WSL players. I don't know what I've said there, Amir. I don't know what you're saying. Cheers to me for what did I say, Jess? This got me.
I looked at that comment and I was just thinking, "You okay, Con?" Because I honestly don't know.
You'll have to elaborate, Mira. I don't know what you're on about. I'm sorry. Agree with Sarah's comment. Obviously, build the team around Maya and Grace, obviously, which is back from loan. 100%. Two very exciting youngsters that we've got on our books that are, going to be elite players if they're not already moving forward. I don't really have any other questions in terms of what we can expect from Newcastle, really. Because I guess the kind of final question in terms of what's your score prediction going to be? Because I know I'm expecting Joe to go for a Newcastle win. So I'll come to you in a second on yours. But Lee, what do you reckon the scores go? You can name your goal scorers as well if you want to put some names to the goals.
I think it'll come down to fitness, ability, and extra time. I'm sitting on the fence a little bit, aren't I? I generally do. I think we can get it. Do you know what it is? If we could draw for Man United in 90 minutes and that was a league game, we'll celebrate that. But because there's a cup game, we can't. I think it will go extra time. I don't know which sides are going to play. That's the thing, because I think if you play a rotated side and then you've got a big hit has to come off the bench, I think that could be where you win the game in extra time. And it could go to a penalty shootout, and it literally could be a toss of a coin who wins the shootout. So I'll say extra time, and all I want to see from our club is that they compete, and I don't want a thrashing. I don't want to come away from the game and think, oh my God, we've been battered 5-0, because yes, the positives are you'll learn from it, but no, without whatever the result, they'll get a massive send off. They'll cheer off the pitch with a result, because that's the thing that both men and women's do. They make sure that the fans appreciate it regardless of the result. And I'd like to see a goal. I'd like to see celebrate a goal that they've scored against Mary Earps. I'd love to see that. I think that'll be great. Maybe 1 or 2, and I don't want a 0-0. If I have a 2-2 or a 3-3 for the Heart, that'll be wonderful to see the Heart beat a little bit faster. But I expect Man United, unfortunately, to scrape through. But I do think it will be close.
Well, let me set the scene here.
I'll leave it now.
You're going to be winning 2-1. I get that, but Newcastle United women are always stronger in that second half. Right, so we're going to come out that second half. We're going to equalise. It's going to be a tight game, and right there, in added time at the end, Bridget Galloway is going to get the ball crossed into her from Alicia Body. She's going to knock it in. It's going to be scrappy. It's not going to be a beautiful goal. A little scrappy goal that's just going to go under Mary Earps' arms. Mary Earps is going to start kicking off with Letitia like it's Letitia's problem, but Letitia was on the other side of the pitch, and we are going to be bouncing in the stands. 3-2. To Newcastle, and it's going to be a last-minute goal.
I will never set foot in LSV again if that happens.
Get your marching orders, my mate. Get your marching orders.
I just won't come back, I don't think.
The worst part is, like, when you mentioned the whole Mary Earps yelling at Maya Letizia, I could suddenly see it. Like, the vision became clear.
I can see the future.
So I hope to God that is not the result. A more realistic result, I think. I'm going 3-1 Man United.
Realistic?
Yeah. I do think Newcastle could bag a goal. Like, I 100% got it in them, but I think the experience and just it's a different league, literally. And I think at the end of the day, that's what's going to show.
Do you know what's...
I'll help you cry.
Do you know what's amazing to me, though? Obviously, when you look at it, like I said, on paper, you've got United 4th in WSL, Newcastle top of tier 3 right now. None of our viewers are confident of like a big United win. Everyone's like, oh, well, not too sure. We could lose it. That shows, I think, how up and down we've been this season, where we're not sat here. I expected when the draw got made, I was like, okay, there's going to be a lot of confident United fans. None of us are sat here going, oh, like, we're going to win this confidently. We're all kind of sat there going, like, we could lose this one.
Is that not because he's also playing a team that are used to winning every week and the confidence is high?
I think it's more the case you've got, as I said earlier, you've got nothing to lose. Like, so it's not really a. There we go. We finally got a bigger scoreline, 6-1.
Newcastle, I like it.
I think I just don't know what United's going to show, and as we kind of said throughout the show, I just don't know what team he's going to put out. Because if he heavily rotates, I don't think he will, by the way, because he's not one for heavy like kind of rotation. I think we will see a very, very strong 11. I mean, we can put out the second string; it's still going to be strong. But what I mean is, I think it's going to be our WSL team that starts. I don't know. I really don't know. I think if we go a goal down, and you see the heads drop, as we've seen all season, when we concede a goal, the heads just dip straight away. We could be in trouble. So, but I'll back it. I think I agree with Jeff. I think 3-1's probably about right. Just I think experience, especially the longer the game goes on. Looking at the bench we've got and so on, that should get us over the line. I think on that one. 9.
No, that's optimistic, but I am here for it.
9-1. Come on, Vic. That's not going to happen, man. 9-1. No chance.
If we do get beat 3-1, along that third goal goes in the last minute, just so the game's competitive all the way through.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I'll agree with you two on.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to it. As we said, we've kind of covered everything in the hour and 15 minutes we've been live. Obviously, atmosphere, players, lots.
Let's face it. This is going to be a WSL fixture in 2 to 3 years.
I hope it is. I really do hope it is. I think it's.
You can come up in Newcastle. You can have a night out. You can get some Gregs down you. You'll be sorted.
That's the dream. Truly.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for.
That's actually a question I do want to end on.
Start supporting the better United.
Oh, no, we're not getting into that. But a question I do want to ask on, you've just mentioned, obviously, coming up to Newcastle in a couple of years, obviously, if you guys are in the WSL. A conversation we had on here a lot over the kind of, I guess, the last couple of seasons, but obviously on Monday with the takeover, it was mentioned in the show earlier, playing the games at Old Trafford. Obviously, Newcastle played a couple of games at St James's Park for the women, massive attendances as well, considering the tiers you were in, obviously, at the time of those games played. Would you like to see more games at the bigger stadium, obviously at St James's Park, or do you prefer the kind of closeness of having it at a smaller ground at the moment?
I think we'll both agree on that at St James's because we sell the tickets. We're good at doing that. We've had 4 games at St James's, and to get 28,000, it's only half full, but you don't really see that because the higher banks are closed. But St James's Park, because I think what the club are really good at is marketing really well. They're really clever and saying, look, take your family out. You can take four years out for under tenner and stuff like that. They really market it really clever. So we haven't played at St James's Park this season just due to the fact that we're trying to keep the pitch as best as possible for the Champions League games. Unfortunately, both of our clubs went out the Champions League. One club was a disgrace, the other one wasn't. That wasn't our club. But we'll not get onto that. But yeah, I would like to see more games at St James's Park, definitely. I think realistically, though, is we need our own stadium, like a small, maybe a 10,000 seater, and then we can build upon that if we go higher and higher. I think that's the dream. And then, as I mentioned, the training ground earlier, we'll probably get Whitley Park, the training ground, when the men do leave. But having a stadium of about 10K is probably realistic. Why not? It doesn't affect FFP.
Fully agree. Back everything Lee's just said. It's. We would love to be at St James's more often. It's an absolutely amazing place to be for the lasses, and I would love to eventually see we get our own stadium. There's nothing really more I can add to that one. Like, fully agree.
Yeah, no, I agree on that one, and appreciate that, MC. Obviously, with your comments as well. And we do our best on it, obviously, to generate the excitement for the game. And as you said, we'll be doing more of these, I'm sure, as every preview for every single game. But obviously, hopefully, when Newcastle do get to the WSL, we'll get these two back on to preview those games. Obviously, when we get round to that one, I don't know what's going on here. You're talking about. I know you've corrected, obviously. That's still wrong, by the way, because it's an ER. Apologies, Jake, on that one. But you're saying I've bottled it. I don't know what this is in reference to. Was there a question that I've missed further on?
Is that the result?
That I've ignored?
I think it's the result.
I said 3-1.
You're kind of sitting on the fence until you're like, oh, I'm not that confident. I think we're going to go out, but I have to say it because Jess has said it. So I'll agree with Jess just so I can tick a box and it makes that I've said, yeah, Newcastle will lose.
That's it. You've been called
out. You've been called out, but I'm going to call Lee out a second. What was your scoreline? Oh, that's right. You didn't. You sat right on the fence. You basically built the fence.
2-2-3-3.
3-1 would be okay. Like a 3-1 loss would be okay. That's what you said.
I only said if Newcastle do get beat 3-1, that third goal goes right to the death. It's just so because the one thing from our side that I don't want the girls to be demoralised if we're 2-3-0 down after 20 minutes. We want to be staying in the game a bit competitive because the game dies off. I know you want that, of course you do. You enjoy your afternoon, but from our side and obviously all the fans, we want to be. If we're getting beat, we want to get beat by 1 within the game as much as possible. But I think it'll go extra time, as I say.
We'll see on that one. I know when I was saying all that, I now realise what Jake was referring to. Of course, yes, I did see it, and I was purposely ignoring it. So you are right. I did bottle the chat. Yeah. Oh, should we just ask this and end it, Jess? Because I'm live again in 25 minutes. Okay. So very simple question, Lee and Joe. It's probably the easiest question you've had all night. When you get a burger, how are you eating it?
You're asking the wrong person because I'm a vegetarian.
A veggie burger, a corn burger.
I won't even eat a corn or a veggie burger because it looks like a burger.
Oh.
So you were asking someone who is like, will not touch. Joel echo this as well. I won't touch anything that looks like meat. I don't eat fish. I'm just like being that way for 25 years, and I'll never change. And that's just the way. I can't
think of a vegetarian alternative. Like, what's the vegetarian equivalent of burger?
You know, McDonald's do it.
Cheese sandwich.
Yeah. Veggie Deluxe. There you go. I'll go to I'll have a Veggie Deluxe. I'll go into Subway and get it.
Okay, and how are you going to eat that?
No, that's not part of the question, Jess. Come on.
Probably in hands.
Come on, Joe. If you're a burger eater, how are you eating it?
So how am I eating it? Slapping plate cheeseburger straight up, as big a patty as I can get, quarter-pounder sound, whacking the tomato sauce on, or if you've got some special burger sauce, we'll bang a bit of that burger sauce on, we'll get it, we'll look at it like it's the love of your life, you're like, oh, hello, me, I'm a burger. And then you just chow down, you go from being really, really romantic with the burger to like being really aggressive and just...
It's like Clarkson's whole farm, isn't it? On Amazon, isn't it?
It's how it's done.
The correct way, then. So, Connor, Connor, would you like to just say how you would eat that burger?
We'll put that on the vlog, by the way. We'll get Joe to get a burger on the match vlog to do that deliberately for you.
Oh, please.
Do you want me to come on as well and show you how it's properly done? Because as NT's put there, for me, burgers should only be eaten with a knife and fork.
What?
No. I'm vegetarian and I don't agree with that. I'm vegetarian and I don't agree with that. No. It's got to be in your hands, man. It's got to be like that.
I didn't think you'd like that answer.
The grease, the sauce on your hands, and like, come on.
Exactly, that's why I don't. For that reason.
Oh, we're having a burger off, me and you.
Should we eat the burger van?
I tell you.
No, it's gone all blurred now. See, it's not like it didn't let me answer. It's gone out of focus. I don't know if I can be bothered to try and fix this. Hang on.
I don't think anyone likes that answer.
Cameron doesn't either.
There we go. Yeah, no, to be fair, I think NT put this earlier on. There was two people on the men's fan channel, All for United, was two more people added to my club of knife and fork burger eating. So,
which is just insanity to me. Just pick it up and ram it down your mouth hole.
Why? Because if you use a knife, won't all the food like fall out?
Oh god, you're not gonna like it. Cover your ears, Joe. So essentially, what I do is I break it down. So I take everything, like take it apart basically, and like eat it. Yeah, it's people.
I tell you what, there's a very big way to settle this. Have you heard of Toon Polls? We can tweet Toon Polls a poll and ask him, what do you think? Should you eat a burger with a knife and fork or not? Because I'm really offended. Yeah, honestly.
I honestly think we shall have a burger off on Sunday. We'll meet up and we'll just both get a burger.
We'll go into the Ren afterwards, and we'll
honestly, it's a real problem. I'm not sure why I'm friends with him because it is. Like a bit
honestly, you say about a poll. I actually did a poll, and the percentages was 91% with your hands, 9%.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah, I was massively outvoted. So I don't know. We shall see. I'll induct some more people as the season goes on. I love it. What a great way to end. There you go. So I hope you're happy now, chat. With the answers on that one. Right, before we round this one off, then obviously Joe and Lee, where can people find your socials? Obviously, I know that you're part of Newcastle Fans TV as well. If you want to shout that out, where can people follow it, find it, and obviously, I guess, hear you on Sunday?
So if you like women's football, if you want to get the opposition's perspective, I've already put a women's video out tonight, and then we've got you guys coming on ours as well tomorrow night. So we're going to put that out. Me and Joe are going to be talking about that, and we've got some clips from Becky and a couple of the players as well. So, and then obviously we'll be doing switching the focus after the men's game on Saturday over to Sunday, where we'll have hopefully a live watch along if the Wi-Fi is good. We'll see on that, and a vlog and hopefully a couple of interviews with both Marc Skinner and Becky Langley. Hopefully, so Newcastle Fans TV everywhere, our socials and YouTube.
For me personally, it's the exact same. I represent Newcastle Fans TV. If you want to get at it personally, it is Kenjar7981 on both Instagram and Twitter. We're going to be live. And if for listening for one, looking out for one on Sunday, just listen. Just perk your ears like that up to the heavens, and you will hear the angelic voices of Lee, Dale,
from the gallery.
Yeah. Heavens, Lee. Come on, heavens.
No, it's going to be good. You've been both brilliant to have on. No problem, Merlin. Like I said, we always try and get opposition fans on when we do these previews for this very reason, because they know the team a lot better than we do. So it's good to have the perspective on their team as well. So thanks to both of you for coming on.
Yes.
We'll be live. Well, myself, I'll be live in 25, not even 25, 15 minutes now, as Mia said there, with Miriam from She Scores Bangers, talking about the transfer window as a whole. Obviously, Lena McGull to Inter Milan. Emily Fox just signed for Arsenal. There's a lot to talk about. So type in at All for Women's Football. You'll find us over there literally in 15 minutes time to talk through all of that. From an All United point of view, we'll just be back next Monday with the reaction, where hopefully we're talking about a win on that one, because I don't think I'm going to turn up if we lose. Because I don't want to host that kind of show. So we'll see how we get on that one. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, go and check out these guys on Twitter, as I said, and follow Newcastle Fans TV. Because even if you're not a Newcastle fan, I've got to be honest, I checked it out when you guys got in contact. It's very, very good. The vlogs, by the way, brilliant. So make sure you watch those as well, and following the women's team about. Like the video, subscribe, and follow us on TikTok, Twitter, at allforunitedvids, and we shall see you guys in the next one.